What's up, everybody? My name's Adam McDormand, and this is Medium Quality. Alright, for this episode I have Kendrick Lamar's most recent release, Untitled Unmastered. This is a collection of 8 previously unreleased songs that Kendrick Lamar wrote while he was working on To Pimp a Butterfly. Now, before I say anything at all about this album, I have to confess that I am by no means an expert on the genre of hip-hop, and I'm in no position whatsoever to comment on Kendrick's place in the canon of hip-hop. However, there is an undeniable musicality to Kendrick Lamar's work that has turned me into a big fan. Now, for a 35-minute collection of leftover material, Untitled Unmastered is an impressive piece of music. I mean, it's full of the highest quality grooves that command the booty to shake vigorously. Some of these tracks are easily on par with To Pimp a Butterfly, which was, in my opinion, an absolute masterpiece. Now, every song on this album is without a name. They're just numbered, untitled tracks. And some of the ones that I think are really worth giving a listen to are number 2, which has this really incredible drop that just forces me to get up and move. Untitled number 3, which is, in my opinion, one of the more thoughtful observations on the album, lyrically speaking. Untitled number 6, Untitled number 7, and Untitled number 8, which, if you've heard the live version that he performed, you know that that's one of the tracks that kind of cements him as one of the important voices in hip-hop for this generation, in my uninformed opinion. Now, the music on this album is certainly not for everyone. The artistic ambition that Kendrick Lamar always shows in his music is juxtaposed with this challenging message that he seems to revisit over and over again in a lot of his works. But it's built from the lexicon of hip-hop music. And to put it simply, this is not the kind of music that you would probably want to put on your mom's iPod. I do think that Kendrick Lamar really tries to elevate the conversation about a lot of these topics. But the thing is, he tends to make these really interesting observations about the more pernicious aspects of his particular culture, while still participating in this liturgical worship of the holy trinity of hip-hop, which is money, drugs, and women. But that's really the only thing negative that I can say about this album or what Kendrick Lamar is apparently trying to accomplish with his musical career. Now, the vinyl package of this album is really straightforward. As you can see, it's a really understated matte green album cover, and of course the vinyl record itself, very straightforward, black vinyl, classic, sounds good. Now, you probably noticed there's like this black mark here in the corner of this album, and the first 2,000 or so pre-orders on Kendrick Lamar's website were autographed by him. It's a very understated autograph, which I guess makes sense if you're signing over 2,000 of these things, but it's pretty cool. I managed to get one of those for pre-ordering this album. Untitled Unmastered by Kendrick Lamar, definitely an album worth giving a listen to, especially if you're interested in hip-hop or the creative process involved with making hip-hop music, because this is a really interesting and authentic documentation of that process.
Oh, but don't be scared of me, girl. I can't explain. I know it's foreign to you. I know it's hard to believe. God, give me the favor. I can't explain. More than a compliment, and I can need some assistance. Let me show you how. I can't explain.
On the B-side this episode, I want to answer a question that someone posted on one of my most recent YouTube videos. It's a topic suggestion from Cameron, who asks about record collecting based on pressing values versus based on the collector's musical taste with no regard for value. And I think that's a really interesting question. One of the cool things about collecting vinyl is that you can really approach the hobby however you like. I think most people purchased vinyl records because of the music itself. They find their favorite albums, and it never occurs to them that maybe what they're listening to may be worth something or nothing at all. The value proposition never enters their decision-making process because to them, the record's value is based entirely on their enjoyment of the music. I think that's a completely valid way to approach collecting vinyl. And actually, it's probably the most sane way to go about the hobby. On the other hand, there are collectors who are looking for records that will be worth something. And their goal is, of course, to eventually sell the records for a profit. So how do I approach collecting vinyl? I've dabbled a little bit with the record dealing scene. There have been a couple of times where I've purchased extra copies of a colored pressing that I know is going to be really limited with the intention of selling it. But I've never had the desire to turn my hobby into a business. Beyond that, I don't think I have the business instinct to do it successfully. I'm sure I'd probably lose money. To be honest, I really want my record collection to be this carefully curated archive, if you will, of the music that's important to me. So I think that this wall kind of represents the full range of my eclectic taste in music. I'm sure that it's mostly progressive rock with this healthy dose of math rock and Midwestern emo sprinkled throughout. I think I mentioned this before, but the personality of my record collection really changed quite a bit when I got married and put my wife's records on the shelves too. I mean, the collection is still mostly my stuff, so it's still very much a, carefully curated representation of my music taste, but it has sprinklings of these strange bits of music that she is also interested in as well. Not that her tastes are weird. So what's your record collection look like? How did you go about collecting your records? Do you intend to sell them? Do you just have them because you enjoy the music? Please let me know. I always really enjoy seeing other people's collections or hearing about the cool stuff that they have or how they go about searching for new things. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. And thank you for watching Medium Quality. One album review, one something else. What a time to be alive.
Why so sad? Walking around with them blue faces. She said I'm down on my luck and it's something I gotta have. Blue faces. I hit the bank today and told them color me back. Blue faces. Yeah, that new money.